friend. My name is PEtrovick, and for the past 25 years, I've been teaching, coaching, and training people how to create a better quality of life in the network marketing profession. Today I live a life that most people could only dream about. It hasn't always been that way for me because I've certainly had some ups and downs, like you probably have, and most successful people have. I do believe that from time to time, we need to seek advice and counsel because we might be stuck. I've created this series, I call it Prosperity and the Mentors, because I wanted to have an opportunity for you to tap into the psychology, the mindset, the habits, if you will, on some of the most amazing people in our profession. And today I am absolutely thrilled because my guest today is a two-time best-selling author. He was a former #1 income earner of his network marketing company. By the way, he joined that company when he was in foreclosure. He's the co-founder of a coaching and training company for network marketers that has been on the Inc. 5000 list and was recently recognized as one of the best entrepreneurial companies in America, according to entrepreneur.com, for innovation, impact, and growth. He shared the stage with Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Gary Vee, and many, many thought leaders today. He is just an amazing human being. He has got such a big heart, and he's got a passion for teaching, coaching, and training. And he and his wife have taken their knowledge, their experience, and they're applying it to social media, online, offline strategies, and are teaching people all over the world. You probably know this guy. His name is Ray Higdon. Ray, thanks so much for being on with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's awesome.
Well, I'm excited because you have, I want to say one of the best stories, but it's hasn't always been an easy story. So for people who may not know your story, and we're talking a little bit about prosperity, what's your before and after story, Ray?
Sure. So, I mean, there's a few, but I mean, I would say that, I'd worked my way up in the corporate world to a pretty good salary through just working hard. I never, ever felt like the smartest guy in the room, but I always felt like the hardest worker. I would show up earlier and I'd stay later than most people in the corporate job, and had, worked my way up. And there were a couple things that I noticed. The harder I worked, they would pay me more, but they also demanded more. And I looked at, my boss, his boss, her boss, and they were all making more money than me, but they were also more miserable. And so between those two things and just realizing I was spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing, I wanted something else. I wanted an alternative. And it turns out that that first alternative wasn't actually network marketing. It was actually real estate. And so I went into real estate because a lot of my buddies were doing it here in the state of Florida. During that time, it was red hot and everyone's making money in real estate. And I thought I was a genius because I was, making good money and just crushing it. And then I realized that I was just in a hot market. When the market changed, I got wiped out. I wasn't prepared. And so I went from, having a decent little, amount of money set aside and income and all that stuff to nothing. And so a couple of years of that beat me up, and I tried a few different things. I tried network marketing. I tried other different things. And I just wasn't at that point where I think I needed to be honest. And so in 2009, here I was, dead broke, personal foreclosure, $1 million in debt, chased by bill collectors. I'd gone through a divorce and was really questioning what the hell I was doing with my life. And a buddy reached out to me and invited me to a home meeting. And at that time, I'd sworn off network marketing. So I just had some bad experiences, and I kind of blamed some of my hangups on others. And but I went there with like, hey, I mean, my credit's shot. I got hardly any money. I got to do something. And so I went there. I watched the presentation. I really think it could have been anything, and I would have jumped at it. And I just decided that I was going to make that thing work. So I became very, very coachable, and just got to work, and did become the #1 income earner in that company back 2.5 years ago now. I did retire from actively building. So now we do just focus on coaching and training the profession as a whole.
That's an incredible story, and such an inspiration too. And I know there's a lot that took place in between the time you joined and the time get that number one spot. And I've seen a lot of your products and trainings, and you're one of the best. I mean,
Thank you very much.
I love you and Jess and what you guys do.
Appreciate it.
How would you, if you could define prosperity, Ray, what would your definition be?
I mean, to me, prosperity means a few things. It means that you're not seeing the world as where everything is scarce. And I think that, to me, prosperity and abundance and those kind of words kind of go together in that, most people think scarcity. They think that there's only so much to go around, that if someone's winning in their neighborhood, then someone else has to be losing. And if someone's crushing it in their network marketing company, then, someone else is, losing. And, they have the idea that there's just only so much to go around. And I think prosperity is also being able to make the choices that you want to make. And, there were times where, there were many times where we just couldn't do that. If someone invited us on a vacation, it was like, oh, I got too much to do. I can't afford that. I can't do this. I can't do that. And being able to make those different decisions, being able to not just you fulfill your desires, but help others in the attainment of their desires. And, such as, when, Jess's mom, had an issue with her car, we, helped her get a car. When my mom had an issue, in her life, we helped her, get into a house. And so doing, things like that, where you're able to make a bigger impact and feel good about what you're doing here on the planet.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about, what goes on in the world of Ray Higdon in terms of, routines. Do you have like a morning routine and the evening routine that you get into a certain rhythm?
Yeah. And it's varied over the years based on the mission, right? So when I got, serious about network marketing and growing that, I had a certain set of things that I would do. Now it is a little different. Still extremely, mission critical, still, I'm very, very consistent. And so in the network marketing space, it was, when I was building my network marketing organization, it was, I had to, when I was first getting started, I had to do 20 no's a day. I had to do, 1 to 2 videos a day. And that was every day, no matter if I felt like it or not, or whatever. Now we have a couple groups that we serve. So, usually in the morning, I wake up, I tend to be an early bird. So, I get up early, go through, some of my different groups, I have a couple different, things that I do. I do this, some Kundalini yoga and I do a little bit of, working out. Usually I'll go for either a walk or hit the exercise bike and listen to an audiobook. And then from there I will, I have a infrared, I don't know if you want all these details, but I have an infrared sauna that I do for 25 minutes. It's very good for the immune system, and take a shower. And then I'll do my, right now I'm doing 2 videos every day for 2 different groups, and knock those out, reply to the comments, check out, social media. And then from there, that's when it really varies. Sometimes I'm, blessed to be on an interview like this. Sometimes I have calls with my, corporate team, but that's where it kind of varies. But every morning is very, very similar for me in that I'm doing those videos for the groups that we support, and just always.
What about the evening side?
On the evening, that definitely varies in that a lot of times, sometimes we're doing a training. We do a lot of mainly Facebook Lives for different teams. And so, sometimes leaders will have us do a Facebook Live for their organization. Sometimes we're doing a training for some of our clients and our masterminders. I don't have a set, here's what needs to happen every single night. I think the only thing that I would say I consistently do is before I go to bed each night, I do, just kind of put in my head the things that I want to accomplish the next day, or if I have an issue that I'm not sure how to handle, then I kind of say to myself, I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow with the perfect solution. And so, I do tend to, if there's a complex issue or something like that, I do tend to kind of put it on the subconscious. And, almost every time I wake up the next day with some kind of idea I hadn't had before on how to solve that thing. And, that's not every night, of course, but that's something that I do. The nights are usually a little bit more flexible.
Cool. Over the years, has there been a book or an item that you found yourself giving away to people?
A book or an item. There's one of my favorite books, probably the book that we've given away the most would be The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, which is very different than The Art of War, but it's the War of Art by Steven Pressfield. And, it's a little book. It's not a huge book. I don't have it here. It's upstairs, but it's something that really talks about resistance. It talks about us pursuing our life work and the resistance that we'll encounter. And a lot of people, they take resistance as, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And the book does a really good job of, if you want to be really good at anything, you're going to face resistance. And so some of the examples, Stephen uses is like, writing, like most authors literally never feel like we're sitting down and writing, but the champions sit down and write. And it reminds me of, the story of Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld has written down to write jokes for, I believe 2 hours a day, every day for 30 years. And he actually has cataloged every joke he's ever written for the last 30 years. And there's a special on Netflix that kind of shares that. And, people they think that there's this overnight success or something like that. And you just have to be consistent. And what you lack in skill, make up for in being consistent. And, what you think that others possess better than you, make that up and being consistent, because so few people are consistent that when you really stand out.
Cool. One more fun question and we'll get into some more serious stuff here.
Sure.
Has there been a purchase for $100 or less in the last 6 months that has had a real positive impact on your life?
$100 or less that's had a positive effect on my life. In the last, think about that. Let's see, $100 or less. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. $100 or less. What would that be? Man, that's a good question.
Okay, $1,000 or less.
$1,000 or less. Okay. All right. I have this answer. You know what? This will be different. This is not necessarily a product. It's more of an experience. And so when I was 18 or 19, I was in the best shape I ever was. I was training to go into the military, which I actually got disqualified because of a knee. So I didn't serve. But I was boxing and I loved it. It was fantastic. It was like, I just loved it so much and in super amazing shape, loved it. And for the last, 20 years, I have said, man, one day I'm going to get back into boxing. And so I finally stopped talking about it and I hired a trainer that comes to my house 3 times a week, beats the holy hell out of me. I mean, most days I feel like vomiting immediately afterwards. But the two things there is that it was, me saying, hey, I'm worthy of having something that has nothing to do with business. With business, I'm very, very structured. I'm very regimented. I'm very, I don't have any problem investing, $50,000 in a coach or something like that. But when it comes to my personal life, that's where I've held back a little bit. And so I would say that's been my purchase. And there's been days where I did not want to work out. And he shows up anyway, and he makes me work out, and it sucks, but then I'm grateful after. And so I would say that's probably the biggest thing in the last 6 months.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Let's shift a little bit to business and success in the human side of things. Has there been a time, I want to say recently, but maybe not recently, but possibly recently, where you maybe struggled with prosperity and abundant thinking? And if so, and if it wasn't recently, the last time you might have experienced that, how'd you deal with it? Who'd you turn to? How'd you process it?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the only, today, the recording of this is actually my wife and I's 7-year anniversary. And she's not home right now. So, it's okay. She'll be home here in a little bit. But, really the only thing since our marriage, okay, before the marriage, different story, but since we were married, the only thing that we've ever had arguments over was some different things around money. And I'll tell you what that looks like in that. So she, we have, come out, out of foreclosure, out of being dead broke, $1 million in debt, all that stuff. And, have made, a significant amount of money, I think, to anyone's standards. Yet there were times years ago where, Jess would just throw out a comment and say, man, bank account's a little bit less than it was last year this time. Now, we maybe had bought a house. We maybe had traveled the world. We maybe had, just got new furniture, like all these things. But I'll tell you, because of my past of her supporting me when I was broke, what she said was, hey, the bank account is a little bit less than last year. What I heard was that I wasn't doing my part as a man. So that would send me into a work frenzy. That would send me, I'm doing webinars 3 times a day. I'm going crazy. And she's like, why are you so stressed out? What's going on? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why am I stressed? Like, to me, what she said should obviously, was obviously triggered to get me to work more and make more money. But that's not what she was doing. That's how I was hearing it. And so we had a discussion. I just said, hey, babe, I just want you to know that when you say something like that, I mean, it drives me crazy, and it makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough, which I think I work pretty hard. And so I go in this frenzy, and then you get mad at me for working too much. And then it's just frustrating. And so, I said to her, I said, how about this? Let's set up whatever needs to be set up for you to feel secure, because that is what's programmed in her. She is programmed. She saw, her mother was, once made really good money and went through some tough times and wasn't making much money and struggled. Her dad has drilled into her, save. And so, and she's, I'm the, hey, let's, we'll worry about making money tomorrow. So she's a great compliment to my personality. And so I said, let's do this. Let's set up whatever you need to do for you to feel secure. However much you want to take X amount from the bank account every month and automatically shovel it over here and there and wherever else, then let's do that. And so we did that. And we also got educated, both of us, on how it's not a good idea to manage by bank account. If you're looking at your assets and your net worth and where you're investing and your savings, then, the overall picture, your bank account, what dollar amount is in there may not be reflected. And so, of your growth and progress. And so since then, we've just been in a much, much better place. We've set, pretty aggressive goals for saving. Obviously, everyone believes that their business is going to continue to, grow and prosper and all of that stuff. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't save for a rainy day. It doesn't mean that you should, act like it's not going to last forever and just secure yourself, because, I've faced that. I thought in real estate that by now I'd be 20 million in real estate, no problem. And that's not the case. When the market changed, I got wiped out. And so just putting our ducks in order, so that eliminated that stress between us.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. How important has meditation and visualization been for you in your journey of building prosperity and abundance for yourself and your family?
Yeah, it's something that, and I kind of see as there's some distinctions in there, in that I definitely have gone periods of my life where I didn't do meditation, at least. And as far as visualizations, I don't know that I'm a master of that, but I think where I've been very good is crafting a vision of who I want to become. And what does that look like? What kind of company do I want to build? How do I want to be known? How do I want to show up? And so I've been very good at that. In the last, since July of this year, I've been doing some Kundalini yoga and things like that. And some of those involve, what do they call them? It's a type of meditation. I don't know what they call it actually, but I can tell you that if you study really focusing on opening up your mind, you will come up with ideas I don't think you would have come up with before. Now, as far as having a vision for who you want to become, that is the source of my consistency. And a lot of people over the last 9 years have asked, well, what's your daily routine? What's this? What's the steps? And, I'll tell it to them, and, they won't do it. They may do it for 3 days, and day 4, they're out of there. And so I realized that it's not the awareness of a routine. It's the crafting of a vision of who you want to become. So my vision is a ruthless dictator. Like I don't have an option to do my stuff. I have to do my stuff. I have to impact. I have to provide value. I have to do the videos. I don't need a sticky note to remind me. Who I want to become dictates it ruthlessly. And so that's, I don't know that I'm the greatest at visualizing, but I think I'm pretty good at crafting a vision of who we want to become. How do we want to be known? How do we want to show up to the marketplace?
So it's interesting when you talk about vision, because a lot of people talk about creating a vision on having the stuff. You're talking about what's the vision of who I want to become so I can accomplish that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, in the beginning, when I was dead broke, I needed money. And, and I was sick of her paying my utility bills, me being emasculated. And, not that she would ever make me feel that way, but I felt that way. And, no question. I in the beginning, it was, let me get out of debt. Let me make some money here. And then it became where it was just more of an end result. The last few years, I mean, we've certainly increased every year and, have done well, but it's more of what does the profession need that we can provide versus what can we sell? And that's a very different approach. Yeah. And I'll tell you, a lot of the times our decisions don't give me less work. They give me more work. But if I believe that it's what the marketplace needs and what would help them the most, then I'm game to do that work.
Mm. It also says that you're listening to the needs of the marketplace too, which is huge.
Yeah.
As opposed to having an ego and trying to say, you need this. Like, no.
For sure.
I love that. So let's say somebody is watching us, listening to us, and they think maybe they're too old or can't change their future, have tried network marketing before, hadn't had much success. Can you give somebody 2 or 3 suggestions, tips to help them get unstuck, if you will?
Yeah. I mean, let's first, I think talk a tiny bit about the profession. I mean, we see network marketing as the lowest risk, lowest overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business. And, it's not perfect. It's, and it may, for some, it's it's kind of the gateway entrepreneur drug. Some people come into network marketing, learn some things and go do other things. That's okay. You don't have a problem with that. But if you're looking to create success in your life, network marketing is a very amazing opportunity, in that if you watch some of the people on Shark Tank, I mean, they go on there and, they got their life savings and making these whatever almond cookies or whatever, and they're going to give up 50% of their entire business for some connections. Well, they still got to learn sales, marketing, prospecting, but they also have to learn supply chain management, trademark attorneys, currency conversions. How do you scale that business if you get 50,000? Someone wants 50,000 cookies in Tanzania. Like, what do you do? Well, network marketing, you don't have to figure out any of that stuff. You just got to point people to a tool and say, are you open or not? And so it makes sense that if there's a way to create success, it's most possible in network marketing. And I'll tell you that if you stop looking at, here's all the reasons why I should fail, and you start just looking at, hey, can I see if human beings are open to taking a look at this product, service, or opportunity that clearly benefits people, that solves problems, that helps people attain their desires, then you will be quite the inspiration. And I think that, the more challenges you've been through and the more obstacles, then the more inspirational your story. It's not I can't succeed because of these things. It's selfish for me not to succeed because of those things. I mean, how many people out there are at a certain age, or single mom, disabled veteran, someone who's really, down in the dumps that is struggling, that need your story? And so I think if I think it was, I don't know if it was Waddles or Hill, but they said, you can't be given the idea without the capacity to accomplish it. And if you have the idea of success, then you have the capacity to accomplish it. Do you have the chutzpah to go through with it? Do you have the, what it takes to show up on the days you don't want to? And, there's so many stories of success. One of the ones we share in our group is my friend Amy Murphy out of Canada. 17 years in network marketing, had made $3,000 total.
Wow.
Not impressive. And if you calculate auto ship, she actually lost money, right? And so 17 years, $3,000, how much she actually make, negative that. But she's not $1 million earner. And, I know other individuals that were at this thing for 10 years before they had success. And it's like, hey, what's the alternative? Do you have a big inheritance coming? Do you have a hedge fund that's going to, help you out at a certain age? Probably not. Do you have a way to be financially free in 10 years if you don't do network marketing? Most people don't. 10 years from now, they're worse off. And so what if it took you 10 years or 17 years, like poor Amy? And I just think people need to, realize that. People need to realize that people that were just as smart, if not smarter, took longer than them to create success. And what makes them so special? It's that journey is what makes you powerful. It is what inspires people. If it was so easy, then your story wouldn't be very inspiring. And so keep showing up, keep going. And if there's any business where you can possibly have success, it's definitely this one. I mean, it's low risk, low overhead. You just don't got to know a lot. You don't have to know the comp plan. You don't have to know the ingredients of the products. You don't have to know much. All you got to do is talk to people and point them to something and say, are you open to take a look at this thing? And that's your job. And I think, people overcomplicate it, of course, but anybody at any level. I mean, I remember years ago when we had a lady out in Hawaii, 78 years old, recruiting 10, 15 people a month in, month out. I remember that. And so, why not? Why not create success inside of this profession?
So a lot of people are trying to get on the quote unquote social media bandwagon. Technology can sometimes be overwhelming to people because there's so much information, so many different opinions.
Yeah.
What's the best way for somebody to handle information overload or overwhelm?
Yeah. So, I mean, one, I would just be very cautious with your language. If you use words like overwhelmed, frustrated, disappointed, stuck, confused, if you use those words, something I shared, I think yesterday, you get to keep what you speak. And so, if you're using that words, then your wish is my command, and that's going to be your reality. I mean, that's just what you're going to experience. And so I would just be very cautious about using those words. Know that anybody that's creating any level of success has at least as much access to information as you do, possibly more. You don't even want to know how many emails I get of different people, hit me with different ideas and all these different things. And the way that I look at marketing and information and things like that is I look at, okay, is this something that I want, that it makes sense to add on to my daily routine? And I think that's a very different thing than how most people view technology. Most people view technology as, hey, is this going to get me fast results? I literally never look at that. I never look at, is this going to get me fast results? I look at, okay, is this something that if I apply it daily, it will make bigger success inevitable? And that's a very different filter than most people have. I'm looking at, okay, if I'm doing this for 3-4 years, does this make sense to include this in what I'm doing? And I'm not looking for the fast results. There's a lot of people that are going broke trying to get rich quick. There's a lot of people that they're trying to shortcut the shortcut, and they're trying to come up with things of, how do I work as little as humanly possible to make as much as humanly possible, and they're looking to technology for that. And usually that doesn't exist. Technology, if you look at technology as a way to extend your communication, then I think you're looking at it properly. Social media is it's just an extension of your communication. It's something that it's weird to say, no, I don't do social media, because it's just an extension of your communication. I assure you, the biggest leaders in network marketing that were around in the 40s, 50s, if they had access to social media, they would use it. Guarantee you. And some of the biggest leaders that ever existed in network marketing, used to run newspaper ads, used to put up signs in their yard, used to do, that sort of stuff. And, so to not use something, like social media is kind of silly. And some people will say, oh, well, that's, social media or doing Facebook Lives or any of that kind of stuff is not duplicatable. Well, people have to really do a gut check about duplication, because, okay, well, if that's the argument, then what's the most duplicatable thing in the world to do? Is it talk to strangers? Well, how many people in your organization actually go offline and talk to strangers? If you have more than 9%, you're better than any leader I've ever talked to. Think about that. Now, is there anything complicated about it? Can anyone walk up to another stranger and say, hey, you open to my product service opportunity? Yes, but they don't, right? And so just because something is duplicatable doesn't mean it is duplicated. And so, it's something that understanding that distinction should help some people out. And, quite frankly, not to do social media is a little strange. And so I would just ask yourself, what are some daily things that I can do around social media or not, and that will make success inevitable? And if you just look at not your planned daily method of operation, but look at last week's daily method of operation and say, if I perpetuate the routines that I did last week, does that make success inevitable? If I go to someone and say, hey, here's my routine, what do you think? And they say, oh man, you're going to crush it. You see, if I went to someone back in 2009 and said, hey, I'm going to get 20 no's a day. I'm going to do 1 or 2 videos a day every single day. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to read a chapter a day. I'm going to go through a book a week. You think that'll work? There's no one that'd be like, nah, dude, that'll never work. Like, everyone's like, yeah, no wonder you're crushing it. Because I created a routine that would make success inevitable. You got to have the tough talk with yourself and ask yourself, not what I dream of doing, but what I'm actually doing. If I continue to do it, will it make success inevitable or will it not?
Yes, that was incredible. That was incredible. Kind of somewhat answers this last question I want to actually ask you in terms of business, but let's say somebody believes personal development is important. They're into the prosperity stuff. They even do some meditation. They go to the event and are all fired up for a week, and then it kind of unwinds and they get back into their routine. Is there any suggestion, Ray, that you can help them to flip the switch permanently?
Yeah, I do think determining, why are you doing this? Why is it important? Why did you join? What's the alternative? What do you want to do? I mean, we all have so many minutes in our life, so many seconds, so many hours. What is it that you want to accomplish in your life? And is that actually important to you? And I also, just to give, the push and the pull here is, I look at how many people out there have problems with no solutions. And I truly, truly, truly believe in my heart that network marketers are it's such a special blessing for you to be the equiper of the everyday ordinary person, for them to have actual solutions. So when I was in my corporate job, I wanted more time freedom. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to be able to travel more, and I wanted to make more money too. That was not an option. Now, make more money might have been on there, right? I could go up one more level in the corporate ladder, but I would have less time. There was no, I want more time and more money, HR director, sign me up for that. That didn't exist. And so I had problems, no solutions. How many people have that? And, network marketing is something that the majority of people start part-time. So how many people out there are not having the Christmas they wish they could have for their kids because they're not making a few hundred extra bucks a month? And how could they? Well, if they go to their job and possibly ask for a raise, I guess some of them, could get that. Most of them probably not. And most of them, if they got that raise, would be asked to work more hours. And so you, as a network marketer, you have a solution. You are the prize. There are more people out there with problems, no solutions than you. And that doesn't mean that every person will, take the solution, that every person's just going to be a rock star in network marketing. But without it, most of them don't have any possibility of helping their life. And so I just think that it's on us as network marketers to talk to the everyday ordinary person, to show them a way to do something part-time, to increase their life, to help them have more prosperity, more abundance, more, friendships, more community, more, education, self-development, more money, more dreams, things like that. And that's on us. We've been blessed with this amazing infrastructure that, we didn't create, but, it's been around for decades and has helped, millions of people. But it's on us to get the word out about it. So you got to get yourself, you have to stop believing that it's all about you. You making lots and lots and lots of money in network marketing, it's not all about you, because every dollar you make represents some family somewhere getting a benefit from your product or service, or impacting their family with income. And so if you want to help more people on this planet, then just get over yourself, get past your self-image of being worried about being rejected or that you're being greedy, and just go see who's open to your product, service, or opportunity. And you do that consistently on a daily basis, and you'll change a lot of people's lives. And I wish everyone would have the feeling of getting a thank you from someone, whether it's a thank you, through a Facebook message, or from stage, when they're standing up there on stage and pointing at you. I've had a lot of people, reach out to Jess and I and say that, because of us introducing them to network marketing, it changed their marriage. It changed how they were able to send their kids to, a different kind of school than they would have, if they didn't have that extra money. And so we've seen that benefit over and over and over and over. And I want people to feel that blessing, but you'll never feel it if you don't put it in the work.
Fantastic. Let's shift to a couple of lighter questions and we'll wrap this thing up. Let's say you had the ability to send everybody a text message tomorrow morning, everybody in the whole world. What would the message be from Ray Higdon to inspire them?
Oh, man. I would say that the time that you have been spending beating yourself up, do something more constructive. Go lighten someone's load. Go, offer someone a solution. Go give a compliment to someone. A lot of people, they're putting 15 minutes into their business each day, but they're beating themselves up for 4 hours a day, every day, day in, day out. One of the things that I say is, I can't beat your voice. I can't do it. I can train you every single day, but I'm a tiny sliver of time in your head. Your voice is in your head all the time. I can't beat that voice. And so all that time that you're hoarding on what you did wrong, on what's wrong with you, on mistakes you made, just stop that and just start. Even if you just give compliments, that would be so much more worthy of your time. So stop beating yourself up.
I love it. I love it. In the last 5 years, Ray, has there been a new belief or behavior that has improved your quality of life and prosperity thinking?
A new belief. I mean, I think, tackling having the tough conversation with my wife about, money, that definitely helped. I think as much as I talk about this for others, I think my belief in myself has really increased. And, I'm someone that, I show up and I do what I do. And I often struggle to grasp, like I'm really good with criticism, right? So I really, yummy. Like if someone says, hey, you could improve it this way, I'm like, ooh, all ears. But it's been tough for me to process, gratitude. It's been hard for me to process, people thanking me and things like that. And I've really worked on that. And something that, helped is when the first time I saw Tony Robbins, it really helped because I had been living my life going goal to goal to goal to goal to goal and not feeling any joy, any fulfillment from any of these goals, right? It was just next goal, next goal, next goal, next goal. And so like taking the time to really step back and realize, hey, you just did a good thing. Let's really own that. Let's really feel good about that. And it's something that, we teach our groups. We teach them, Celebration Friday, dance around, give yourself a high five, pat yourself on the arm, celebrate your progress. And I think that's, I went from hard charging, what's the next goal, no joy, no fulfillment, to let's feel really good about the journey and let's continue the journey. It doesn't mean slack off or anything like that, but, let's continue the journey, but let's feel really good about the journey and the impact that we're making. And so I think there's been a few, lessons in there. My daughter's 3 years old and she really impacted me in a massive way, made me just so, grateful to be given this chance again. I have 2 older boys and when they were young, I was working 3 jobs. I wasn't present when I was around them. I was stressed out all the time. I just wasn't there. So to be here for my daughter and, just to be more appreciative of the moment is really a blessing and a change for me.
Well, that's amazing. That's incredible. So congratulations. I know
Thank you.
I think when we slow down to love ourselves, we can love other people more and we're certainly a lot more fulfilled. Okay, let me ask you a real weird question. What's one unusual habit or thing that you love?
Unusual habit or thing that I love. There's a few things. Let's see. I have a very addictive personality and so like I can very easily get like addicted to to things. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I would say, I love, I dig horror movies. I know that all the prosperity books say, don't put any back. Like I dig them. I like watching horror movies. I like the Marvel stuff. I went for quite a few years of just doing what the books say and no TV, no this, no that. And, I've lightened up a little bit. I think it's okay, if you want to, watch Daredevil on Netflix, if you want to, check out some other series or something like that. So almost every day I do have some amount of time. I can't take regular TV with commercials and stuff.
Right.
But, every day I'm doing some kind of enjoyable thing, not just business, mindset. And, I think that's something that maybe more people need to hear. There's some, influencers out there that'll tell you it's all about grinding and hustling your face off and never stop. And, I think it doesn't have to be that serious. Definitely dedicate a percentage of your time toward impacting others, toward progressing your business. But, want to goof off. And, you know, and I tend to goof off at least some time a day, every day.
Hey, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing too. Is there a mantra that you find yourself repeating to yourself often?
You know, there's one that I heard when I was 19 years old and I started working for the Sony Corporation. I was a graveyard shift, $9 an hour. And I heard the story of Larry Bird. And Larry Bird in a championship, he, you know, they were down and he was fouled, and he, you know, in the opposing court's, you know, deal, sunk, you know, the 2 or 3, you know, free throws to win the game. And the reporter comes up, and I mean, everyone's, you know, trying to distract him and everything. And the reporter says, "How'd you do that in the enemy's, you know, the opponent's stadium, everyone's screaming, everything on the line, and you just calmly sunk it?" And he said, "I don't feel pressure. I only see opportunity." Mm-hmm. And so there's been many times where, you know, maybe I'm about to go on stage in front of a large crowd or something like that, where I used to be terrified of speaking. And I just, you know, when I feel those nerves tingling, I just say to myself, you know, I don't feel pressure, I only see opportunity. And I think about, you know, that one, maybe it's just that one person in the audience that is down on their luck and wondering if they should be there, wondering if they have any value left to give to the world. And maybe that's the person that I speak fire into. And that's just what I think. I think of the opportunity of to impact someone's life. And I think that that's sacred. And I think that it's very honored to be in a type of platform to be able to do that on a consistent basis. Yeah.
I just want to say, thank you for being an example for the industry. Thank you for everything that you and Jess do. You guys are incredible leaders, visionaries, and equippers. I mean, you really believe not only in the profession, but you believe in the potential of the human spirit, which I think is incredible. So thank you for that leadership and that guidance. And thank you for your time today, Ray, especially on your anniversary.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to connect with you, Ray. What's the best way that they can connect with you and a lot of what you do?
Yeah, I mean, probably the easiest, you know, facebook.com/Ray Higdon page. You know, we have our blog, obviously, you know, the blogs, we've been, you know, blogging on that. We have quite a few blogs, but we've been blogging for a while at rayhigdon.com if someone wants to check that out.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ray, again, thank you so much for sharing and being that guiding light of leadership. And my friend, hopefully you got some value out of this interview today. Ray just put so many great strategies, tips, and tools that will allow you to create more prosperity and abundance in your life for you and your family. And my guess is that you'll be able to help a lot of people along the way. My name is PEtrovick. Remember this, my friend, you have a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and a prosperous one, because you absolutely deserve it. Until next time, bye-bye for now.